All right, what's up, my peeps? Al Smith here. I've heard over the past however many months that I've been back on, people say that you cannot edge rock beds with a edger, and that's true to a certain extent. And I'll tell you the reason why. Okay, so this is my edger blade. As you can see, hopefully you can see this, but this side right here has a point on it. When you get them brand new out the box, they have points on them. They're brand new. Over time, they start to round out like how this is. So the reason why I say it's true to a certain extent is because, yes, if I have a brand new edger blade trying to edge a rock bed, it's going to be a bad idea. But what I normally do is I normally keep these little small blades. I normally keep these because these come in handy when it comes down to edging rock beds. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to change the edger blade from this big guy to this little guy. And as you can see, hopefully you will be able to see, there's a huge difference. With this big one, it's way more edge that can go into the ground. With this little small one right here, it's not that much. And so when you are edging, you're not going to necessarily hit the rocks as hard, and you're not going to, because it's rounded off, it's not going to catch the rocks as bad as it would be if you were using a brand new blade. So like I say, I'm going to go ahead and change this blade and put this older blade on here, and then we'll edge the bed up and I'll show you. Now, one thing that I will say is that if you have an edger, you want to make sure that you have an edger with the mud flap on it. If you don't have one with the mud flap on it, that could be a little tricky. But you want to make sure that you have one with the mud flap on it. So change this, put this older one on here. And then we'll head to the back. Now, this rock bed hasn't been edged in months. I wasn't edging it because I wanted it to grow in. And so during the winter months, I didn't try to edge it at all. I didn't even spray weeds or anything. You know, in the wintertime, it gets a little bit too cold to spray weed killer. And if I spray weed killer, it's coming out my client's budget. You know, they're paying for it at that point. And so I didn't even spray weed killer. But this is the rock bed right here around this pool. I don't want to bring you up too close because my clients are home. So, but it needs to be edged. And there are a lot of rocks, big and small. So what you do is when you edge, you don't pick it up. You don't tilt it. You kind of keep it down. I'll show you. Turn it a little bit. Now bring it around. My apologies on the sound. You know, I normally take my microphone out, but because I'm talking, I want to keep it on. Let's go. Let me show you. So, as you can see, it has been edged. Now, like I say, the thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you are keeping the edge up, your edger down. You don't want your edger to come up. Another thing that you don't want to happen as well is you don't want to be trying to edge. You don't want to have your edger running when you are picking it up. So just say like you come to a stop, you don't want your edger to be running, because then you run the risk of hitting the rock and sending it flying. Another thing that I like to do is I like to stand behind the edger. That way, if something comes out and it flies, what it's gonna do is it is going to hit my leg or hit my shoe. It'll hit something else besides a window. But like I say, it can be done. You just want to make sure that you're taking your time. You don't have to have the edger all the way to the full strength, you know, the full power of the edger. But you want to make sure that you're being able to edge it up as good as you can. So keep the edger down. And I want to show you, I want you to get a good view of what I just did. So over here, where those pipes are, I'm not going to edge that. I'm not going to edge that at all. It's just going to have to stay how it is. But as you can see, right around where the border is, all that's been edged. And over here, it's going to be the same way. I'm going to be able to edge all of this as well. Do it again, as you can see. Keep the edger down. And be forceful with it. Don't just, you know, have your edger down. Keep it, have it down and be forceful with it. Push it into the ground. That way, if you hit something, the only thing you're doing is you're breaking the rocks up. You're not necessarily sending them flying. So this edge line is done. It's completely done. All I got to do now is come behind it and pull the weeds by hand. Pull those little runnels by hand, and I'm good to go. So that's a tip. Take your time. You don't have to try to like rush. Take your time. Make sure that you have a mud flap on your edger, and make sure that the edger blade that you're using is an old edger blade. You don't want to use a new one. If you use a new one, you run the risk of catching one of the rocks and sending one of the rocks through somebody's window. And that's not something that you want. All right. So with that being said, my name is Al Smith. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, subscribe to the channel. If this is one of your first time watching the videos, go through my catalog, check out my old work. And if you see something that you like, if you see some videos that you like, thank you, it'd be worth the subscription, subscribe to me. And until the next one, I'm out.